Hello, I'm Jessie. Welcome to my channel and my fourth video. Today we're going to talk about motivation strategies for weight loss and developing plans and how to keep going when things are difficult. First thing that we want to get into is developing the plan and setting appropriate goals. So weight loss itself, you can look at it and think, oh, it's pretty obvious, pretty straightforward. I'm going to lose X amount of pounds over X amount of time, or I want to hit X pant size, or whatever that kind of thing is. But really, when you get down to it, took me a really long time to figure this out too. It's like, do you actually want to hit that weight? Are you actually trying to hit that pant size? Is that really what you're after? Or is it, hey, I like how I feel when I'm this size, or I like being able to do X, Y, or Z activities, and I felt most confident and most comfortable doing those things when I was at a particular size or when I was at a particular weight. Or one thing, like myself, I've always had it incorrectly in my mind of, oh, if I'm at X weight, I'll be able to do these certain things, or I'll be able to enjoy these certain activities that for some reason I can't now, and I'm not allowed to start working on those or enjoying those things until I actually hit that end goal. And what ends up happening is you just kind of spiral of not being able to do those things, and then you actually end up making it more challenging to get there. One of the things that I was thinking about this week is how much I enjoy hiking and being outside. It's something I've loved forever, even when I was a kid. Love going on day hikes, taking the dog out on long walks, taking landscape photos is one of those things that I really enjoy. And after I'd gotten to a certain weight and didn't really have people to go out with that also enjoyed doing those things, I basically just stopped doing it and had it in my head like, oh, I have to lose weight or get down to a certain pant size before I'm allowed to enjoy that. And that's dumb. And once I finally got over that and actually started working on, well, I'm just going to go out and enjoy these things anyway, and I don't really care what anyone else thinks, and I'm just going to enjoy myself for the sake of enjoying myself, not for anyone else's benefit. Then I was actually working on that path of being able to enjoy those things that I like doing and building up that endurance. So, it started with me taking Smiles a couple blocks every day, doing, 10-15 minute walks, and then that turned into 2 to 3 hour walks, and now, we can go on day trips and we can go spend 5 hours wandering around in the woods and having a great time. Smiles loves it, I love it, and I wouldn't have gotten there and I wouldn't have had that endurance if I just stayed in the house and was like, oh, I can't do that until I lose 40 pounds or something like that. So basically with that whole story is what I want to drive home is when you're thinking about the goals and thinking about what you actually want, think about what that actually means. Like, is it really just that you want to look a certain way, which is fine if that's what you're going for, or are there other things deep down that you're actually shooting for that you want with that goal in mind? The next thing about that is once you have that goal in mind, what you want to think about is it realistic? Can I put a realistic time frame on it? Can I set those things so that I actually have a path to get there? You need to be able to develop a plan and say, I can do X, Y, Z, and keep in mind there's always going to be disruptions to your schedule. It's one of the things that I've talked about several times of, you have birthdays that come up, you have the holidays like right now that are coming up. There's always going to be stuff going on, so you need to keep that in mind with your plan of how am I going to account for those rough days or those really good days where there's other stuff going on or special events where your routine's going to be disrupted. How are you going to stay on track? How are you going to still meet your goal? That is, especially with food for me, a challenge, but we'll get more into that another time. So for the motivation strategies, I really like to think about what is the end feeling or the end activity. That's really what's going to get me going. Like, at the end of the day, am I going to be content with what I'm able to do and what I'm doing day in, day out? And having that meaning into it is a lot more important to me than just, being able to say, oh, I fit this aesthetic or whatever it is, with the just superficial aspect to it. Some of the tools that I've been using for staying motivated and keeping it going is me being very visual, using my virtual walks, being able to see my progression through that as I go through. Every so often I'll unlock a postcard, which is really cool because then I can see something and see the achievement. I also get to see the scale filling up of, oh, you've made it 10, 15, 20, 50%, 75%, and being able to see that progress visually for me is really awesome, and I find that motivating. And the other thing is I have a smartwatch, so I'm able to see my daily step counts. I can see my heart rate and how many calories I burn. I can see they track heart points, like from the American Heart Association, and I like being able to see that progress, and then also being able to beat my prior things. So like just the other day I was able to put in over 25,000 steps, and that was a personal best for me for a single day, so that was super awesome. Really liked being able to see that and unlock that. Being able to get my heart points and being able to see the incremental improvements of like the resting heart rate, that kind of thing. Being a data person, I really love being able to see the charts and being able to see the change in performance over time. So that's one of the things that I really have gotten a lot of value out of in doing with that. That said, I've had the smartwatch that I have right now for about 2.5 years, and I'd really love to upgrade, but what I've decided for myself, since my current watch works fine and it's purely just an aesthetic thing and, oh, I want a new toy, I've set that as once I hit 20 pounds of weight loss, then I will reward myself with upgrading my smartwatch. So setting some of those kind of goals for different benchmarks for myself will help keep me motivated over the long term, because again, this is a long haul. It's a 1.5 year process minimum if I'm staying on track, and that's a long time to think about day in, day out. What do I have to do to hit that long-term goal without making that be my full-on obsession? Which it does have to be a little bit, but still want to be able to enjoy life and not go too far the other way where, it goes down the path of like disordered eating or disordered exercise and that kind of thing. So the external tools I find really helpful. One of the other things that just changing habits in general can be very challenging. One of the things that was suggested to me is just making those small incremental changes, and I think that is super helpful. So like for one example of, reducing the food by X amount, or cutting out a certain food or reducing a certain food, like me reducing the cheese, or just eliminating something, like maybe I don't have chips anymore because chips are bad for my cholesterol or something like that. Making those types of small changes, finding good alternatives. So for me, what I've been doing is, instead of chips, getting roasted beans, and those are super tasty. Or you can also do the veggies and hummus like I talked about last week. super good alternative. And for the activity, really just bumping it up a little at a time really definitely helps. Again, with that incremental change, it's okay, I'm usually sedentary. All right, I'm gonna start with doing 10 minutes of moderate exercise a day, and then upping that as that gets easier. Weightlifting, same kind of thing. Start with the 2-pound weights, then up to the 5 pounds, etc., as you go, and just kind of keep pushing yourself to get to that next level. The other part, big thing for me, is having that accountability. So I like to see myself as being honest and reliable, trustworthy. So if I'm telling people I'm going to do X, Y, or Z, then I better do X, Y, or Z. And so, like, posting this video and sharing on Facebook of, hey, here's what I'm doing, it helps me because now I have the pressure to not let other people down and do what I say I'm going to do. So that's kind of all that I've got for today, and looking forward to talking next week about how this past week and how this upcoming week went with hitting my goals and where I'm at. Really excited. As of today, I do have my first actual significant weight loss, so we'll get into that next week, and look forward to giving you guys that update then. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.